and welcome to On Location Fort St. John. I'm your host with the most. The host makes you want to turn on the program whenever you see my beautiful face. I'm Grady McTavish, and I'm here with Macwood Productions. And
that's a little better.
Actually, kind of an improvement. Ben, how are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good, good. Great to talk with you. You're from Eagle Vision Video Productions here in Fort St. John. Huge fan of your guys' work and your journey as a filmmaker and bringing filmmaking to the area. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course, and thanks for the new merch. That's great. So I wanted to kind of talk to you about, because for us especially, we're filmmakers, in name only, not in terms of quality of work. But we are very passionate about media and film education here in the Peace region, and especially filmmakers up in this area, because it's not very common. And videography and filmmaking. And I wanted to kind of learn about your journey and talk to you about how you got started and where you really see the future of filmmaking in the Peace going. So correct me if I'm wrong, but you grew up on a dairy farm?
Yes.
Near Fort St. John?
Yeah, exactly. Just past the airport here in Fort St. John, a dairy farm called Peacevale Farms.
And what was that like growing up on that dairy farm?
Oh, it was great. Yeah. It was a great upbringing, you know, out of the big city of Fort St. John. Yeah. And yeah, it was a nice rural family run farm. There's 3 families on the farm. My grandparents, and my cousins, and then our family, basically running everything. And it taught us great skills, practical skills, hard work, you know, how a farm runs. And no one's there to save you, so you got to do it yourself.
Yeah, exactly. And you got to put the work in. And do you think that translated to your future career working in film and video? Because a lot of people who are outside of the industry don't really know that there's a ton of work that goes into it. Like, you have to be incredibly passionate. Did that hard-working sort of skill set and that sort of attitude from working on that dairy farm, did that translate to your future career?
100%. Yeah. Everything that that our parents instilled in us as kids definitely translated into you know, perceived success in industry, because it's all about perseverance. You don't have to be the most skilled filmmaker. You don't have to be the most skilled business person in general. And the thing that pushes you through is that perseverance. And with farming, you have to have perseverance, because if you don't push in the long day for seeding or for harvest or with the cows, you know, there's no relief worker, there's no night shift. You are day shift and night shift. So you have to, you know, pull up your socks and put in the work. And that 100% translated into, you know, me not giving up when things were tough. And when things are tough in the future, I know I have a little bit of that grit that pushes me through. For sure.
And it's that grit that kind of, you know, for a lot of filmmakers, it's that grit that kind of keeps them going. Yeah,
100%. And that's with all creative industries, photography and video and art in general. You're not always going to get it right the first time, and it's that grit that makes you, I'm going to redo this, or I'm going to redo the shot, or I'm going to, you know, recut this 2-hour-long thing together, even though it's going to take me 2 weeks. You know, it's that grit to push you through and actually do it.
Yeah, for sure. And when you were growing up, what did you want to do? Because I understand you didn't want to be a filmmaker when you first grew up, or?
No, actually, right from elementary school, grade 4. This is what I knew I was going to do.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Elementary school out in Beldonnell. And there were one of my best friends at the time, Chris Hill. Him and I would do every project we could in film.
Wow.
And so grade 4, we did some small commercials just with VHS camcorders. They were like 1 or 2 shot wonders. And then in grade 7, Mr. Coop had us put together a short film. So it was 10 minutes or less. We had to write out the script. We had to do our shot list. And then we filmed it all on my grandparents' high-8 camera and cut it all in camera. So it was record, stop. Oh, we messed up the tape. Rewind the tape. Record over the spot. And we did these cheesy in-camera fades with the fade button on the camera to like bring the iris down. So it was a little, but for grade 7, I don't know, we had a blast doing it.
Yeah.
And ever since then, I was like, well, no, grade 4, I knew this is what I wanted to do, not how to do it. Grade 7 really solidified it. And then grade 8 through 12, every school project I could do on video is what I was doing. Even if it took me 4 times the amount of time as a written report,
Right.
I would do everything to avoid a written report at all costs, even if it took me 40 hours versus the 5 hours to actually do the report. And so that's what I've been doing ever since.
Wow. Wow. And how did you get that sort of passion, that sort of spark to be a filmmaker? Grade 4, around that range.
I really like making people laugh.
Yeah.
I guess, and I saw the entertainment value. I like making people look at something we created and just be like, wow, that was really cool, or that was hilarious, or it's so cheesy, it was funny. And so I like that payoff from that reward of all the work you got put in, and then it would pay off dividends into the future, and people would rewatch the film, even though they were like grade 7 and grade 8, grade 9, like super cheesy high school videos, but it was fun.
Right.
Yeah, so I like watching people's reactions to something we created.
Yeah, and you kind of touched on it a bit, but you guys back then, you didn't have nonlinear editing systems.
No, it was we started to get a little fancier. Grade 8, grade 9, we did tape to tape.
Yeah.
So 2 tape decks, 1 recorder, and then you could switch between the 2.
Yeah.
I worked at Shaw Cable with Diane Townsend back in junior high for a little while.
Wow.
There was Peter Vandergooten that was at the film production course in Burt Bowes. It had just started not too long before that, I think a year or 2 before, and they had the very first version of Premiere Pro.
Oh, wow.
Adobe had just released the very first version of Premiere Pro, and we were able to cut our films in grade 9 and grade 10 on a nonlinear editing system, which was a game changer as far as what we could do.
Right.
Yeah.
And the ability, because like you were saying in grade 7, you're cutting in camera, so you're literally cutting the camera, like where you want your cut points to be.
Yeah.
Did that help you kind of visualize a little bit? Because you're like, I have to stop it right here, and I have to start it right here, and I have to do this fade.
Yeah. Maybe to a certain degree. I think early on, like within filmmaking, I really liked. I'll be both in front of the camera. I liked acting, and then I liked being behind the camera. Yeah. But I don't think I was thinking about it quite in that sense at that time. And there was no YouTube to watch tutorials. We were stumbling through it by ourselves, trial and error and all sorts of things. So
100%.
But yeah, I would say it probably helped in the future for sure. Having to do that, even tape to tape nonlinear editing. Yes. You still had to really contemplate your cuts before making them. Otherwise, same thing. You would have to back everything up and redo it again from tape to tape. Yeah. So nonlinear editing, you were able to experiment a lot more as soon as we got into the digital platform of Premiere.
Right. Yeah. Right. And as soon as you finished up high school, were you like, okay, now I have to I really want to go pursue this career? And if so, like, what was your kind of plan? Were you like, I'm going to go to film school and do this? Or was it like, I could try and do something here?
Yeah, no, honestly, like, when I graduated, I never thought I would be back and forth St. John because I didn't think there would be the chance of having a career like this here. Yeah. I think when I had graduated, Cole Bush, who was the founder of Eagle Vision, had just started it up. Yeah. I had met him a handful of times in high school. Vancouver Film School had done a presentation up here, like in, I want to say 99 or 2000, so I would have been grade 10 at that time. Yeah. I'd skipped out of school and went and watched some of that, some of their films. Some of them, they're artistic or they're, interpretation films or they're experimental films. I was like, what is this? Like, they were out there. Yeah. And so I was like, I'm like, I don't know. But then they had a couple of like dramatic shorts or some comedic shorts that I was like, that's pretty cool. That's within Canada. Yeah. So I always, from junior high, I was like, I'm going to go to Vancouver Film School. But when I graduated, first went to Bible school. Yep. my wife. I met my wife there. I went to Miracle Channel, which was broadcast down in Lethbridge.
Yes. You had an internship there?
I had an internship there.
Yeah.
Quickly discovered I do not like television because I really didn't like it was high paced, high turnover.
Yeah.
It's good enough, get it out the door.
Right.
Then do it again. Good enough, get it out the door. Okay, you're kind of meeting our standard. That's fine. We'll broadcast it. But it was like none of this like methodical, artistic, like spend your time. It was very quick and get out, which taught me a lot of good skills on being able to think on your feet.
Yeah.
But I just didn't like the pacing and the kind of slapped together nature that television was there. And so got married to Johanna, and then we went to Vancouver. Yeah. I went to Vancouver Film School and then started working in the industry down there.
Wow. What was VFS like?
It was great. It's definitely a school you get in, or you get out of it what you put in. So there was, a handful of people there that were from fairly affluent families. They had the romantic idea of filmmaking. I mean, I think most people that work in the industry have a very romantic idea of what filmmaking's like, not necessarily the work that goes behind it or the perseverance that you have to have.
100%.
And so there was a handful of students there that they got okay grades, but our instructor at the very beginning is just like, look at everybody here. There's 34 of you in this class. 10% of you will continue in film after this. The rest of you will find something else. And it's like, and that's very accurate. I think there's 6 of us maybe that are doing film out of the 30, 34 that were in the class.
Wow. And
so, we got married, went to film school, had a great experience there, put in a lot of hard work. And then it was different in the fact that you were doing basically 4 years of university in one. So you had classes right from 8 in the morning, right till 5 at night. And then every evening and weekends were projects that you were working on, things that you were learning. So each weekend you were like plowed with schoolwork. So it was pretty intense. And then so my wife was taking psychology courses and business and government education courses at UBC at the time, and working at a coffee shop and we somehow managed to, have an apartment and live and eat. Right. Sort of.
Starving artist.
Yes, we were definitely doing that. But so did a year of intensity of that, and then started working in the industry down in Vancouver.
Were you doing the PA work?
Yes. So I was production assistant 2, or a key production assistant for a while on a couple of, like an ABC series. Fantastic Four 2, I spent a couple of weeks on that, and then this series called Masters of Horror. And they would bring in these fairly famous directors to direct a 30-minute horror film. And they're awful to watch. Like they're your typical gore slasher. But the fun thing about, I think those are one of the funnest sets to work on, because your prop department is huge. Your special effects department is huge. There's like, buckets of fake blood and pumps and like the logistics behind a horror film is super entertaining. Like it's very innovative. It's very fun on set. And as a production assistant, you're kind of in the mix of all of it. You're not doing the actual work, but you got to observe closely everything. So so you're on-set security, car park security. And then when I got to be a key PA, then I'm organizing the dozen or so production assistants underneath me. And so I got to float a little more around set and be on radio, get them to lock up set and all that kind of stuff. So I got to rub shoulders with a lot of the people that were doing the actual production. And then after I gained a little bit of experience for a year, I started working on a Punjabi sitcom for Shaw Cable, and I was the director of photography on that one. So a little bit of a different ball game, small production set, only about 5 or 6 people, but that was pretty entertaining at the same time as well.
Yeah, for sure. And you kind of see the full breadth of the filmmaking experience from like the top end, like an ABC show, to a show that only has a crew of 6.
Exactly.
Right? And then that allows you to be really versatile in terms of like when you're a director, you can work with different crews and the amount of crews, right?
Yeah. Well, and I quite like the small sets where everyone has to be a little bit of a jack of all trades. Like the ABC series Fallen, there was I want to say almost 140
Holy smokes.
person crew.
Yeah.
And like everyone's role is very segregated. Like you've got your focus puller. That's all he does. And it's a union job, so he can't touch the media on the camera because he's not AC3. He's got to he's assistant camera number 2. He's got to do focus pulling and hit the record button.
Yeah.
But it's somebody else's job to point the camera. He can't direct the camera or like so like
Yeah.
but what that did is that made people very skilled at their jobs, and so there was a lot less mistakes, a lot less redos on certain things. But to me, it just felt really like it wasn't efficient use of resources to doing a film. So I'm much more like a 10-person and under. You can make some amazing films
100%.
with some really skilled individuals, and everyone's in on it. You have to work hard, sure, but you get to flex your muscles a little bit, as opposed to like you watch some of those guys that like, okay, they've done their bit. Now they have to wait for 2 hours doing nothing while grips and gaffs are moving lights and stuff around, or doing scene change, or doing turnaround or whatever. And I don't know, there just seemed like so much wasted time with a big set.
100%. And it's like, it's an issue of efficiency, like you said. And you also touched on it too. It's like less fun.
Yeah.
Like when we're working on our stuff, and we're, like you're saying, like a jack of all trades, and you're working together, like it's so much fun. And usually the end result, like you said as well, like there's mistakes and soft focus and whatnot, but it's like it just has an energy to it.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
And it's almost like your grade 7 work that you were like, oh, it's cheesy and stuff like that, but that has a charm to it. That has an energy to it, because it's like there's this like unbridled passion and joy that you see in every frame almost, right?
Yeah.
And do you find that's the case?
Oh, 100% for sure. There's definitely and I think that's why I could never be a union filmmaker.
Yeah.
Is I like to have my hands in all the things. Like, okay, we're doing this. I'll help with this light. I'll help with that. Blah blah blah. Move tape marks on the ground. All the things that are needing to be done. Whereas I find with union shoots, you can't do that. You're stuck in your department, and you stay with your department, and you get chastised if you do. Like it kind of stops that helpful collaborative effort. And I much more prefer that feel where it's like it's a team. We're making it all together. Yeah. There's less hierarchy, less I'm the big wig on site and blah blah blah.
Yes.
And I think so. Yeah, I definitely like the smaller crews. And like you said, the grade 7 films, you look back at them and a flood of other memories come back of making that.
Yes, right. And you're like, wow, I remember when I
almost died there.
Wow, I really shouldn't have been unsupervised making this movie, right?
Yeah. Oh, and it makes you grateful for your parents too. Like what ridiculousness they let us get up to as kids is like, oh my goodness, we had no barriers.
Right? And it's my family, whenever I'm shooting a short film and I need a house, I'm like, hey, and they're like, oh my God, again, and it's like that sort of vibe of like, oh, we got the filmmaker in the house, and they're gonna use everything. Pans go missing, you're making fake blood and whatnot. But you worked as a PA and in the industry on union sets. How long was it from? How long did you stay in that area in union world, so to speak?
I'm trying to remember now. I think we were almost 2 years. Well, a year and 3/4 at least. But it was the thing I found hard about the industry down in Vancouver. Like it was 16, 18-hour shoot days.
Yes.
And as a production assistant, you're there first. You're there last.
Yes.
You're there before everyone gets their cars parked to secure set and make sure everything's ready. And then after the last person leaves, you're there to lock everything up and make sure that it's all put back to bed, right? And safe for the next day. So it was, I think my longest day was 23 hours straight.
Smokes.
And then you go home for your 8 hours of turnaround. Yeah. And so your day's constantly shifting. Like day 1, you start at 4 a.m. Day 2, you start at 6 a.m. Day 3, you're at 10 a.m. Then day 4, you start at noon till past midnight. And your days were disjointed, and I was freshly married and whatnot, and I was doing that 6 days a week. And then I took on that Shaw Cable shoot on the weekend. When I went to ABC, they switched to a 5-day shoot week. And then Saturday, Sunday, I shot Jail Darien for Shaw Cable on the weekends.
So you were...
And so I was like straight out, flat out. And then the odd day we get off, my wife and I would just be at each other's throats because we were like, hey, I haven't got to see you all week. I love you. This sucks. and then one thing would go wrong on our day planned that we had within 2 weeks. And then it was just a fight. And we're like, this is ridiculous. We can't sustain this pace.
Yeah.
And the trying to go independent in Vancouver, I mean, you're one of a million fish in the field, right?
100%.
I mean, if you're a fish in the field, you're probably dead. But you get the analogy.
Fish with a lot of water.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So we had to make a major change, and so an opportunity came up to go to Switzerland and film a documentary for a year.
Yeah.
So that's when we just, we didn't have kids yet. Freshly married. I had my citizenship over in Switzerland, and Joanna could get a work visa because she was married to me. And so we just threw caution to the wind, packed everything up into a sea can, and went on an adventure overseas.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. What was that experience like? And what was the documentary about?
A documentary, it was called Dust of Famous People. It unfortunately ran out of money. My brother's an artist over in Switzerland, like a fairly large format sculpture artist. It's kind of his niche. And so Dust of Famous People was a project based on equality. So he was casting crystal clear copies of people from a particular area. So for this project, I'm explaining this terribly, but
no, you're all good.
Basically, Switzerland, he was taking someone off the street, making a crystal clear acrylic of them holding a water drop. And in that water drop was a bit of their hair clipped up, burnt up, swirled around in this drop.
Wow.
And it was to show the person at their core value, their dust and water.
Right.
So a little bit of dust of who they are as a person, 80-some% water. And then the idea was to cast someone of prominence in the same fashion, holding that water drop. So he was petitioning Roger Federer at the time, which was a world famous tennis player.
Yeah.
And the idea was that every continent on Earth, you'd have these statues, a pair, someone of prominence, someone off the street.
Oh, cool.
But regardless of the stature, regardless of your upbringing, regardless of your background, we are equal because we are dust and water.
Right.
And so that was the, kind of a little bit of profound message on it. Our budget was projected to be about $25,000 for materials for the statue and about 2 to 3 months worth of work. About a year later and almost $200,000 worth of...
That's how it goes.
We had the first one done. And all of a sudden you're like, well, now we have one statue done and we're over $100,000 and some thousand, almost $200,000.
Yeah.
Now we have to look for funding. Like it's not as if we can work, fund the project, and do these statues, and then rent the exhibit out afterwards. And now we needed some serious funding, and unfortunately, that didn't end up coming to pass. So we have the one statue. I have tons of footage of making the first statue, and you never know if there's someone that wants to revive the project and believe in what it's messaging, then we would probably continue it. But that was we're talking 2006.
2006. Wow. So 20 years ago.
20 years ago, interlaced film.
Wow.
Still tape based. I got boxes of HDV tapes.
Just from that shoot.
It is from that shoot, yeah.
Wow, that's incredible. And then but that's also a commonality with film, right? Like sometimes they just fall apart, and it's not due to anyone. It's just funding or otherwise or scheduling. Sometimes and you have to just kind of walk away.
Yeah.
And it's tough, but it's the business, right?
Oh yeah. You have to hold your baby with at arm's length.
Yeah. Try to develop.
Don't get too attached to it.
Yes, exactly, right? And then when did you guys come back to Canada?
So 2007, I came back and started with Cole. He had Andrew Tylosky was working with him at the time and had moved on to other things. So there was a hole in the company, and Cole knew we were in Switzerland and had just sent a phishing email out to see if we would be interested in coming back. And I'm like, well, I know I'm not going back to Vancouver because if that happens, you and I will get divorced. And
yeah, right.
So my wife and I had some pretty strong discussions about that. As much as I loved working in the industry and on the big sets, like it had its moments and had its appeal, but it just wasn't sustainable for a family life.
No.
And we eventually wanted to have kids, and
Right.
you know, God's first, our marriage is second, and everything else falls underneath, you know, business or otherwise. And I knew if we went back to Vancouver, there were going to be so many things out of order. Work was going to become first, and you know, that's just a recipe for disaster on all fronts.
Absolutely.
So yeah, accepted the job with Cole, came back here in 2007.
Yeah.
And then and with the intention of buying the company. Right? So when I first started with Cole, I told him, I'm like, listen, my goal is not to be an employee. I feel too restricted being just an employee. I like to push things in directions and then hit them with fire. So my goal is to either become a partner, long-term partner, or eventually take over the company. And that's exactly what he was hoping for. So.
Right. He was hoping to transfer that over.
Yeah, he was hoping to eventually transfer it over for sure. I mean, it doesn't go without a whole pile of feelings attached to 100%. It, right? Like you
Especially build started it. Or...
Exactly. So you build this company up, and then you have this young whippersnapper come in and want to just blow the doors off everything and expand and go big and blah blah blah.
Right.
And so there was definitely some transition and a lot of feelings attached to it, but it's definitely what Cole was hoping for. And,
right.
You know, it's what Johanna and I wanted to do. We wanted to like, okay, if we're gonna stay in Fort St. John, let's. And I didn't think I was going to be able to do this kind of work up in Fort St. John. But if we were going to do this, we're going to make the biggest go of it we can.
Right. Yeah. The biggest swing for the Fed.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So in 2009, we bought 10%, and then in 2011, bought 10% more. And then in 2014, we bought Cole out of the company.
Right.
And then in 2018, we bought a silent partner out of the company.
So you fully own.
Now, since 2018, we've been doing our best.
Right. Yeah, for sure. And how does that feel? You know, the 2018 onward. You know, being the kind of lead like director in terms of like I want to go in these directions. How does that feel?
For sure. Like when Cole was still a part of it, that was still great because he had great leadership and whatnot. Once we bought Cole out, the silent partner became a little less silent.
Yeah.
And that was probably one of the more stressful moments because they were still a majority shareholder.
Right.
And all of a sudden accounts would be empty. And like, hey, why can't we? It's like, oh, it's management fees or bookkeeping fees or blah 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 blah. And that had its own difficulties, like feeling powerless, but you're the managing partner with a minority shareholder stake in the company. And so you just had to take it. Like there was nothing legally we could do. There was, and so we had a bookkeeper come on, Carolyn Kelly, and she saved this company more times than I can count.
Right.
So she was able to claw back, you know, some benefits as an owner. She was able to squirrel away money for rainy days when they did empty account. Okay, we can dump savings in to cover payroll or to cover equipment expenses and stuff like that. So Carolyn Kelly was definitely by far, like Johanna and I praise her all the time because I don't think I can count on my hands how many times she's actually financially saved the company. And if you want to destroy creativity, put some financial pressure on yourself, and then all of a sudden you're like, you know what, we can't do that. We don't have funds for that. And so sometimes I hate being that I've got more of the financial brain in the company now because I often poo-poo projects or something like that because it just doesn't make financial sense at the time.
And how do you balance that out? Because, you know, that's something that, you know, we've often had to deal with is, you know, what makes, when you put that pressure on yourself and you're like, okay, well, this is how I make an earning. This is how I make a living. Yeah. And you're like, well, I also do creative projects. It's like the creative projects sometimes fall by the wayside and you're like, I need to make rent.
Yes, yeah.
And it's a hard balance to hit. How do you try to find that balance?
The only thing I can equate it to is faith. Mm-hmm. Like honestly, my wife and I we've got a very solid Christian background, and our faith has pushed us through those moments of like fear of like, okay, if we feel like we should be doing this, it makes no financial sense, and we're going to put ourselves in a pickle, and we just fully rely on faith, and God has not let our foot slip once.
Right.
So, like, for example, in combination with Carolyn Kelly on our books and our faith in God, there's been a few moments where the day payroll is coming out, we get a check in within $15 of the amount we need to cover all our expenses.
Right.
And so like there's been multiple moments like that where like, and now I don't know, it kind of emboldens you to be like, oh, you know what? Just make it a little squeaky around here and we're a little tight, but whatever, that's okay. We've done this before.
Right, yeah, and it's the fact that you've done it before that gives you that sort of, not experience, but it's sort of like that, like you're saying, that faith, that trust, like, well, I always figure it out.
Yes.
And I'll figure it out this time too.
Yeah, and I think that a lot of that comes right back to that upbringing in farming from my mom and dad, you know, instilling into their kids that perseverance is like, okay, you got yourself in this pickle. God's given you the skills and the determination to get yourself out of it. And so now you oftentimes purposefully put yourself in a pickle just to like, oh, wow.
Let's see if this works.
It's been boring. Let's make it exciting.
Let me just flip the table over
Exactly.
real quick. Right? And how did it feel to come back to Fort St. John in and around that when you started working for Eagle?
There's some funny stories. When we lived in Vancouver, and then we would come back for Christmas, we'd like wander around Walmart, and we're just like, what is this redneck nightmare? It's like, I didn't realize how redneck it was until we got away, and then you come back. It was like almost reverse culture shock because you grew up here, but I don't think you.
There's like a familiarity.
Yeah. And then you come back after being in Vancouver, where everyone's like 90% metrosexual, where they're just like ultra prim and proper, and you come back and there's pajama pants everywhere in Walmart, and you're like, ugh. And then the problem is now I don't notice it, so you're like, am I the pajama pant wearing hick that I saw in Walmart?
Right.
Yeah.
now you've
I've
assimilated
fully assimilated back into the culture. But no, so it was, but it's good. You get a freedom here in Fort St. John that you don't get in the big center. Like there's opportunity in Fort St. John. There's a strong, traditional family culture in Fort St. John that you don't get in the big centers. They're always looking to dismantle that kind of stuff. And so our support network was here, our level of freedom, our potential for expansion, our potential for, working all over the province. Fort St. John has one of the highest entrepreneurial rates per capita in comparison to the rest of Canada, and successful ones. And so I'm like, there's an entrepreneurial spirit here, and it just kind of enlivened that in me, if that's a word. Enlivened?
I think so.
Yeah.
We'll go with it.
Yeah.
If not.
But no, it brought back a lot of that like entrepreneurial spirit, and that feel good after the nostalgicness of the nostalgia of working on the farm, hard days of work. Have a lemonade at the end of the day of rock picking, and you're sweaty, and you felt like you accomplished something.
You feel fulfilled.
And so Fort St. John really brought a lot of that purpose back.
Right.
Of like, this is what I'm working towards a family. Our goal was to get out of town, but be close enough to town. And it gave you the opportunities for that. Whereas, we could have bought an apartment or something down in Vancouver, and maybe the housing market would have exploded a bit. Well, it did, but it would have been a totally different life in comparison to what you could do up here. Yeah.
Something that maybe you would feel less fulfilled. You don't know for sure, but maybe you feel
I mean, you reminisce a little bit the odd time of like, well, I wonder if we went back to Vancouver, we We had some friends that
Yeah.
heavily invested into real estate, and we were planning on potentially doing the same. But and then you're talking about, okay, well, now you're renoing, and how does that work in an 18-hour day when you want to reno at the end of the day?
And how does your life work?
Yeah, how does your life work balance? And so, no, honestly, I can't picture my life any other place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Good. Good. And then I would also imagine too, being a filmmaker here, it's like there aren't really any filmmaking companies. There aren't really a lot of production houses or video production houses here, and it's sort of like you were saying, it's there's not a lot of fish in terms of like the industry, right? You have a lot of opportunity here, more so than you would have there.
100%.
Yeah, do you feel the same way?
Yeah, I agree for sure. There's a ton less companies for people to pull on, but we have a lot of stuff that happens here, and big announcements, mega projects, and then when companies call us and they're like, assuming that you're going to be, some dude in his mom's basement with a DSLR, and you have a website that says you're a filmmaker. But then when they see the resources we can pull on, and we can pull on other companies out of Dawson or out of here or out of Grand Prairie if we need even a larger production, that kind of thing. And it's like, wow, you guys actually have that up there? It's like, yeah, we've got a camera crane. It's like, oh, you guys have the Inspire 3? Like, that's one of our industry standards. And I'm like, yeah, we have that up here. How do you make that work? And it's like, I want to bring Vancouver quality up to the north. Like, just because we're doing film up north in a small town doesn't mean we can't be the same quality and standard that people expect. And that's also the reason why, we have a branch now in Vancouver, is because a lot of the companies that are doing work with us up here, they also have their main offices down in Vancouver or Calgary, and want us to, start traveling more provincial or province-wide, which has been a little taxing on travel. But but no, it's because we can take that all the way back to the farm. That we can do it. We have the perseverance. We'll get it done. Right. That kind of attitude, and a handshake still means a handshake. Yeah. You deliver what you've promised. You follow through on your word, and a lot of companies take notice of that. Yeah.
No, and that's wonderful. And you said you have a second office now?
Yeah, not a brick and mortar shop yet, but there's 3 guys down in Vancouver. Oh wow! And they do a lot of our Southern BC Hydro work, the demolitions company, a couple little odds and ends, that are from down there.
Oh wow!
And so our goal is, if it expands, and there's a couple of contracts we're working on right now. If we end up winning those, we'll put in a brick and mortar shop down there as well.
Right. Oh, excellent. Yeah. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
That's great.
A little stressful.
Little stressful.
Little stressful.
Little stressful.
Because commercial down there is a little different than commercial up here. It's like, wow, you put a few extra zeros on the end of that cost.
It's always like that with like creative work, right? It's like, oh, I want to do this. Oh, that's a lot of zeros.
Yeah,
to get this done.
I don't know. It's insane what people are charging down south.
Yes.
Like a couple of our clients is like, hey, this poster, what would this cost for you to design? I'm like, I looked at Octavian, who's our graphic designer. We were down in Powell River, and they're like, maybe 2 hours of work, maybe 2.5 kind of thing. It's nothing too crazy. You're just like, well, if we provided you the map and all the text, I'm like, well, 45 minutes. We'll maybe charge you an hour, round it up to an hour. So you're looking at $160. He's like, guess what this cost us? I'm like, well, maybe a fancy design firm, and maybe $400 or $500. He's like, $3,500. And I'm like, what? It's like, we can animate that whole thing, have characters, build your map in a video for less than that. And so we've been starting to do a whole pile of just like simple like graphic design stuff down there, because I don't know, I think our rates, we make plenty of profit, and we run our company efficiently. Yeah. And we're just seeming to, people like to work with us, which has been really fun.
And also when you have that, that like again, that small town mindset where it's like, I'm not trying to like get money from you and get the most money from you. I'm trying to it's for my business and I will get paid for it, but it's like I'm looking to help you
Yeah.
first and foremost, and I'm not looking to just rip you off.
No, exactly. And there's been a few times where, clients have come and it's like, well, our budget is a bit higher. You can bill us the full amount. And I'm like, well, if it's required that we bill you the full amount, we're going to hold a credit here for the stuff we haven't used.
Yeah.
So that we can do a couple of these community projects you want to do that you have troubles finding budget for. We're going to roll it into this.
Right.
Because our rates are our rates, and we do hourly for a reason. It's because we're efficient and we can be cost effective. Sometimes if a client is difficult, it ends up not being cost effective when we're on revision 34 and the video's still not done. It's like, well, yes, it was expensive.
Yeah, I just had PTSD from revision 34, right?
And then, can you change the music?
And that's the final revision.
Yeah, that's the final revision. It's like, well, yeah, everything's nicely timed to the music, but
yeah, the whole rhythm of the video is completely changed now.
Yeah.
But then you also talk about like your vision for the company and for the business. Where do you see Eagle Vision in the next 5 to 10 years, or where do you hope it to be?
Yeah, like where I hope the company to go. There's many dreams. I'm the dreamer, and it always the finances always kind of put a brake on certain things. Yeah. But one of our big dreams is to do fixed wing aerial to aerial flight photography and videography for like Air Canada, WestJet, and whatnot. So we're researching and expanding a little bit into aeronauticals. Yeah. So we're looking at a plane, looking at mounting options for plane, and then we would have to develop our own STC for this particular plane to do a cine camera out of the belly.
Right. And
because with helicopters, you can only go so fast, and a fixed wing is always going to outfly speed-wise a helicopter unless you go with something fancy and expensive. Yeah. And there's some fairly inexpensive twin-engine airplanes out there that you can keep up with some of the jets. Right. Right. And so that's one area we would like to expand in the next couple of years is which sounds ridiculous to buy a plane and to do that kind of thing. But there's not a lot of people that do it. There's a jet company out of the U.S. that do the really high speed stuff. Like, so they were like on Top Gun and stuff like that. But we don't necessarily need to go that expensive. Yeah,
you don't need Top Gun level.
No, but I would love to have like a physical branch in Calgary, a physical branch in Vancouver, and basically cover blue collar companies all across Western Canada.
Right. Yeah. Oh wow, cool. That's where you're hoping to kind of expand.
That's where we're hoping to expand to. Yeah, we're 14 full time right now. And it's a comfortable number right now. That's like, it's busy. Yeah. But I could see us being over 30 within 4 to 5 years.
Oh wow, cool. And the staff that you have, were they local to the area?
Yeah, most of them. Well, actually, no, that's not true. Joseph's local. Yeah. Jesse McCollum that we have working with us once in a while. He's local here as well. Yeah. We've got quite a diverse staff range, actually. We've got our graphic designers from Romania. He's part of our Vancouver branch. Jeremy, he's from Belgium.
Oh, wow.
They were, both Jeremy and Octavian lived up here Octavian for almost 4 or 5 years, and then Jeremy for a couple of years. Now they're both down in Vancouver, but he's from Belgium. We have... oh gosh, Yanis, before he passed away last spring, he's from Estonia. Yeah. We've got a fair amount from the Philippines as well. There are four of our staff from the Philippines.
Oh, wow.
Some from Saskatchewan. Joseph's from Dawson. Yeah. Originally, then down to Vancouver, and I drug him back up here about 4 years ago. Yeah. So honestly, I think like true native to Fort St. John, I might be the only one actually.
Oh wow. Yeah. A really diverse group.
Yeah.
Just like pulling from different places.
Oh yeah.
Seeing, if they're skilled and they can bring something to the table, like
Yeah.
You know, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then also you work with your wife.
Yeah.
As well. What's that like working in such a collaborative environment like filmmaking with her and working on the business like that as well?
For sure. Well, I mean, I would say Johanna was definitely far more involved in the past.
Yeah.
But the more and more, like, because we do farming at our house, she runs a breeding program with purebred Bernese Mountain Dogs
Yep.
called Lone Tree Bernese. And we have 4 kids and an acreage and horses and right now 4-H cattle and rodeo season's coming up. And so her capacity to be more involved with the business,
Yeah.
I've basically had to shut that majority of it off
Right.
to keep her sanity.
Well, she's got so many different.
So she is 100% full-time stay-at-home mom and running the farm business and Lone Tree Bernese.
Right.
So she's got and she's also a 4-H leader, does relief work at the city and so there's so many things that she has on her plate that I've had to forcibly cut her off of a lot of the stuff. It's just not quite the capacity, but she was our main communications officer for a while, so she did a lot of grant writing. And she still does a bit.
Right, when she has time.
When she has time, exactly. But a lot of our communications work go through her. And then she's also my sounding board for decisions and directions we want to go. So we still collaboratively work on big picture direction, macro decisions of the company.
Yeah.
But in the day-to-day, she doesn't come in very often anymore.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I mean, you're doing all that, and she seems like she likes to keep busy.
Yeah, well, she has no shortage of keeping busy, that's for sure. Yeah. Anytime there's a hole, she'll fill it with another task on her plate, for sure.
For sure. And then creative projects that you guys do, what does funding look like for that in this area? Is it like mainly grants, or how does that work?
For funding, sorry?
Yeah, for like creative projects or if anything like that.
We tend to self-fund.
Yeah.
So like Unacceptable, that was fully self-funded, and then a Give Send Go page that funded about 30% of it or so.
Yeah.
And then we self-funded the rest of that project. And then we've kind of clawed back maybe 80% of our costs from like DVD sales and rentals and our theater run and whatnot. That was the theater one was really fun actually, because we ended up showing in over 60 theaters across Canada.
What, really?
So Magic Lantern picked it up and ran it in all of their theaters, and then we did self showings in a bunch of Paramount and Landmark theaters, where we actually toured and showed and rented the theater out, and because they weren't distributing it themselves, which really hurt our bottom line, but it was a great way to show the film for sure.
Right. And did you showed it at the Lido as well in town?
No, we didn't show it at the Lido. We showed it at the Landmark Theater.
Oh, the Landmark. Yeah. Oh, wow. So actually, the cinema.
Yeah. So we showed it in the cinema, and it was really crazy because we didn't know what the reception was going to be like.
Right.
So we rented their big theater.
Yeah.
And it sold out within 7 hours.
Sold out.
And so we were like, well, okay. So we booked a second theater for the same night. That sold out in 2 hours. So we booked a third theater that night. And then that sold out, and so we had to book a second night, and then we just kept running it and it was like 7 showings in a row were all sellouts just in Fort St. John.
Wow.
We're like, okay, well, that's not what we expected.
Right.
And then we went in Calgary, and that sold out within 12 hours, and then we did Saskatchewan, Regina, over in Toronto, like all over the place, and there were time and time again there were sellouts. There was a few that we weren't showing up to from when Magic Lantern took it on, that we weren't doing the intro and whatnot. That they weren't sellouts, but most of the time they were 80% capacity or more.
Wow.
Which was
Were you guys expecting that?
No, not in the slightest. We thought we'd show it in Fort St. John a handful of times.
Yeah.
There was a request down for Calgary. And so we're like, oh, maybe we'll show it once or twice here.
Yeah.
And that was my lifelong goal, is to show a movie in the theater in Fort St. John.
Yeah.
And it was
where you watched movies yourself.
Where I've watched movies myself, and it was a bag of mixed feelings.
Oh, why?
Um, I love the pursuit of goals. And it's almost like mourning the loss of your pursuit when a goal is accomplished.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
And so, and my wife hates this about me. Like, even when we did that short film for the Straight Eight competition at Cannes,
Yeah.
and David Ross and our company had done this film and we won. And it was like this, like,
Wow.
well, it's so great. And then like that feeling just kind of like dissipates into like almost despair. Well, what's the next thing now? It's like now we've accomplished this. And it's like almost like the accomplishing of the goal felt empty and the joy was in that pursuit. And I love the pursuit.
Yeah.
And so the same thing with as soon as we finished that first film, it felt like exhilarating for a moment, but then it all of a sudden felt like this loss. Like, oh, that was a goal I've had for, let's see, 30 years. And now you've accomplished this goal for 30 years, and now you've got your sights are like, well, how much more outlandish can I make my next goal?
Right.
And do I make it so outlandish that I don't or potentially couldn't accomplish it? And it's like, well, then, yeah, maybe I should do something that I don't think I could accomplish, but still pursue it. So I don't know. It was definitely there was a level of pride in the work that we had done, and we accomplished this goal. But there was a tremendous amount of like sorrow almost for accomplishing it.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
You're very goal. Like if someone came up to you and they watched your film and they asked you like, "What's next?" Would that cause like a?
Well, no, I mean, no, that I don't mind.
Okay.
Like what's next, because then it kind of reinvigorates the next goal. Like, so we're talking about the next documentary of What Happened to Man. Like, we have some very ambitious speakers we want to interview, and we've hit major roadblocks because nobody knows who we are.
Yeah.
We're like, hey, we're a nobody film company out of northern BC. It's like, where's BC? Oh, Canada. Oh, the one north of us. Yes. Okay, I know that country. And it's like, we want to do an interview. He's, and then you just get no responses. Like, you get stonewalled everywhere without having a name behind you or anything. So that's been difficult, but I like that challenge, right? Like, it's having those goals that are very difficult to accomplish. It elongates the pursuit.
Right. Right.
Because it's definitely not the accomplishment of the goal that I'm shooting for. As good as it is, it's a hard one.
Yeah. It's the journey that you're.
It's the journey that I really enjoy.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And that being said, a journey without progress is also frustrating. So, I don't know. It's a conundrum. It's like, how fast do we want to accomplish this goal? Let's slow it down a little bit. Let's put a few more hurdles in our way.
Right. And I think it's also healthy, too, to never be fully satisfied with your work.
Yeah.
Because then you're like, well, I can see what I can do differently. I can always push myself.
Yeah. Well, even watching the documentary, like our last documentary, Unacceptable, our first cut of it was 5.5 hours long, almost 6 hours long.
Yeah.
And I basically did a mini focus group in here. I'm like, okay, I'm too close to this. You guys tell me what I need to cut out. Tell me what's not important. Tell me what bored you, and so that was, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, oftentimes it's, but still, like I said, you look at the film now and I'm like, oh, I should have changed that. Oh, I could have cut that out. Or, watching it through afterwards. Your projects are never fully finished in your mind.
Right.
They could always be tweaked.
What is the quote? Art's not perfected, it's abandoned.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Once it's out on disc, well, I can't change the disc.
Right. What was the final runtime?
I think we were 2 hours and 39 minutes or so.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so still a long documentary.
Right.
Yeah.
How much footage did you guys shoot in terms of hours?
Oh, we almost had like 180 terabytes worth.
Holy smoke.
Like, it was a slog.
Yeah.
Yeah, like every interview we did, we had the grand aspirations of being 45 minutes to an hour long. There were some interviews that were like 4.5 hours long.
Holy crap!
And because you get passionate about the topics you're working on, and I find that's one thing I'm decent at with interviewing someone is getting them to forget the cameras are there and just
that's the trick.
Just talk, like and so. And when you're personable and you can like get people to interact with you, they just don't want to stop talking. And then, but that equals for very long interview times. So the poor guys, I know this interview is 4.5 hours long. I need you to watch through it, flag it for the things that are good, cut out all the garbage. I need half an hour of usable stuff from him or from her or from whoever, and then I would take that, and Joseph would take that, and we'd cut it into the different sections. But it was like an evolving beast. Documentaries like that are, you almost don't know where your story is going when you're in the middle of it.
I was gonna say, it's like you're figuring out the direction, like you know the setup, and then you're like, okay, I need to find the hook.
Yes.
In, right? And you find that in the middle of it. And you know, we've done treatments for documentaries, but it's always so tough to do a synopsis for a documentary. And you're like, I don't know what it is. I know what I'm doing.
Write me a script. I don't know what they're going to say, because they can say something totally different, and that's going to change the back half of my whole documentary, because I was like, oh, this is important. We do need to follow this vehicle and its journey, because that's core part and parcel to, you know, their story.
Right. No, 100%. Yeah. And with yourself and your title, like, do you view yourself more, like, do you go for the catch-all term of filmmaker because you do so much, or are you like, I'm more of a director, I'm more of a cinematographer, I'm more of a producer?
Oh no, I definitely definitely filmmaker. Because I don't, I can't pigeonhole myself into one role. Right. I guess that's in fact, the older and older I get, the more and more I almost like solo filmmaking, which is like, I mean, I love working with the team here, but sometimes the trek that I get to do myself, like so just myself, it's really enjoyable to be in your own head and then to do it not necessarily the way that you want. You accomplish less, obviously, by yourself, but I find I can be in my own head more methodically accomplishing my goal versus like, oh, hey, do you mind getting that? And then looking at the footage afterwards, you're often surprised, like, oh, I never would have thought of that angle. Yeah. Like, oh, but we missed this over here. Yeah. But trying to translate that across sometimes is I'm not the best communicator, and so sometimes I like solo treks, but it's I don't know. It's a mixed bag, because I do like working with the full team. Like, we're doing the Angel Summit this weekend. It's a live production, and there's like 5 or 6 people involved with that. And that's really fun doing the live production, because you have to have a cohesive team. Right. The rodeos we're doing, there's 5 people down in Falkland, like, and everyone's on headsets, and we're all communicating back and forth, and you know, joking about the clown or the announcer or that last ride, and it's a great team effort. But then I also really enjoy those solo treks where you just it's you got your cinema camera, you got your still camera slung to your side, you got the drone sitting in the truck, and you're just like, how do I want to film this? Yeah, you just feel like a filmmaker. Yeah, well, and I like that, like, discovering what people do, and that's why I like industrial stuff so much. It's like over the past 20 years of being in this industry, specifically at Eagle Vision, it's like, I know how fracking works. I know how downhole work works. I know how their tools work. I know how snubbing works. I know, when do you need to use nitrogen? When do you, you get to just explore. Right. I know blasting. You know, I know excavation. I know archaeology. Not saying that, like, hey, do this archaeology dig with that. No, I'm not saying that, but I understand the concepts that they're using, how they're sifting, you know, because I get to explore all these different industries. Yes. Like, I got to stand on the bedrock of Site C, like, before any of the concrete went in, after all the excavation. Like, who is it? Probably a couple hundred people that got to do that, maybe 1,000 people that got to do that in all of Canada. And you wouldn't have had that opportunity without filmmaking. I would never have had that opportunity without filmmaking. Hanging off the sidewalls for MatCon of, like, shotcrete work, you know, harnessed up, hanging off the side of a cliff, and you're like, it's just neat things, you know, shooting cannons at avalanches in the Pine Pass, you know, like, oddball things that you never thought you'd be able to film, and you get to see a whole plethora of different industries, culinary arts, cooking, and tourism. and you get to. That's the thing I love about filmmaking is you just get to be explorers, a modern day explorer, but just in industry or jobs or things that. And then you think to yourself, oh, I could probably do that. But I probably couldn't do it for very long because I get bored.
Which is why, working in the arts is so fun.
It's great because every industry that we're filming is totally different. It's like I get a new job every week.
Yeah, exactly. And tough question for you. Do you prefer shooting or editing if you had to pick one?
Shooting, for sure. I like being out of the office, but the magic really happens in editing because you can take something that's mundane, and I like being a fixer.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's like, oh, the shoot was okay, but you made it look phenomenal. I find I like shooting, but I find my skill is pulling emotion out of edits that didn't necessarily even have emotion there to begin with. Like, and so like I could like sounds so pompous, but like cutting some of the stuff for the unacceptable doc, like you would watch through sections and I would make myself teary, which is like honestly it sounds like the stupidest thing I've ever said in my life.
No, not at all.
But it's like, but also I'm like, you know what? If I can evoke emotion in myself while cutting this together, it's like okay, I am in touch with what makes people feel.
Right.
And so that I like the editing aspect of that, but I just don't like the logistics and sitting in a chair for weeks at a time. That just drives me nuts. I like to be outside. So preference is shooting. But I would say my skill set is drone and editing.
Oh really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I've always not disliked shooting, but I like shooting, but it's always the time crunch that gets to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
But with editing, like there's a deadline, but I'm like I can just kind of. It's almost like what you're talking about with solo filmmaking. It's like I can just kind of sit and relax, and I can just play.
Yeah.
It's almost like plane editing, because you have all these different components, and you just play and add to this ingredient, this soup, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it is quite interesting. How? When did you guys start doing drone? Was it when it first came out?
Yeah, we bought our first drone in 2014. Actually, the month the deal went through with buying Cole out, our first drone arrived. It was an OMF 550, so it was a custom-built drone from this fella out of China called Only Flying Machines.
Yeah.
And it was the second version of DJI before they were making drones. They just made autopilot, or not autopilot, like flight controllers. And so it was a DJI V2 flight controller that we had on this like 3D printed looking. Oh gosh, it was so temperamental. We had a GoPro on the front that we had and first started out with just a single axis gimbal. It would stabilize just your tilt. And so your yaw, you would still get all this wiggly footage, and you were always trying to balance propellers because if there was any vibration that made it down, you'd get your rolling shutter would just make everything look like jello, and so it had its cumbersome moments. And then after that, I'm like, well, this is stupid. And we bought that octocopter that's in the front entrance there.
Right.
We bought that in 2015. And so it was our first heavy lift, and we'd take our full-size cinema camera up on that.
Right.
And so it'd take up 18 kilos. You had 11 minutes of flight time.
Yeah.
The batteries would take 12 hours to recharge. And so you had to be zippy on exactly what you were filming. Like there was no, like now, like our Mavic 4 Pro, you're up there for 40 minutes. And after a while, you're just like, what else could I film? And then you can go explore over here. Oh, this would be neat. And you just like all of a sudden forget you have the drone in the air.
Right.
And whereas there with that octocopter, you had to be just like so on the ball of what you were filming, how you were filming it. Quality was still great because you had your full-size cinema camera up there, but it was just so short-lived, and it was, oh yeah. And we crashed it once. Oh, no. It's got a parachute on the top of it, and so when it tilts over a certain axis, it automatically pops the parachute, and that saved everything. Saved the drone, saved the camera, but the pilot at the time, so it was a dual operator. I was running camera, and the pilot wasn't looking at the batteries, and we ran them too low, so the motors all cut out, and popped its parachute, and we watched it float down the...
You're like...
I was in Hudson's Hope, and I was like, wow. there's 30 grand floating away. And luckily, camera and they cracked a couple of plates and an arm, but other than that, everything else survived. So
Yeah.
it was a pretty easy fix.
Miracle.
But then the Phantoms came out from DJI, and we started after that. How easy it was for those drones after that point, it made no sense. The octocopter was quickly shelved after that. We made its money back, but just. And then we were on to DJI's platform and been with them ever since. Yeah.
And did you think, and this is kind of a general question for art, I guess, but like working with that previous drone and its limitations, do you think that allowed you to be more direct and more like working with its limitations allowed you to have more creativity almost? Because they had that quote about art sometimes thrives in limitations.
Well, yeah, and that goes the same for my wife and I. Did a lot of like house flips and renos.
Yeah.
And we like that more because it's like, oh, this wall is not movable. That wall is not movable. We have our limitations.
Yeah.
And so I would say maybe to a certain degree, but for me, it made for more frustrations. I found where we were able to be probably some of the more creative is having to communicate that. And that's when we used to do helicopter work. Like we rarely do helicopter work now because drones are so easily available, and if we need to be over 400 feet, then we'll rent a helicopter, and we have lots of sites to hit. Then that makes sense. But we're talking last year's the last time I was in a helicopter. It's been over a year. When I was before 2014, we were probably in a helicopter every couple of weeks and doing aerial shots because that was the only way to get aerial shots was to take doors off a helicopter and go for a flight.
Yeah. That was the way to do it, right?
Yeah, so that I found you had to communicate with the pilot exactly what you were wanting him to do. I found we were able to be more precise and more creative in that sense than with the octocopter. Because half of the stuff with the octocopter, we were still learning how to fly in general as well.
Right.
So there was a few aspects of that.
Yeah, absolutely. And stepping outside of filmmaking for a bit, what other things that you and your wife do as well in the community in terms of like hobbies, or you mentioned house flipping as well?
We did 6 different houses, 5 different houses.
Just in and around the area?
Yeah. So moved in, reno, invest in the next place. Yeah. Live in it for 2 years, and then that's so all of our time outside of running Eagle Vision was spent doing that. With our sole goal of getting out to an acreage outside of town. Yeah. So in 2014, right when we bought Cole out of the business here, we moved out of town back to my parents' place. And so we had 2 kids, us, in a little 400 square foot apartment. Yeah. And that was insane.
How did you manage that?
Well, our goal was just like, we're going to be here for 4 months, and we're going to move. We had bought a cabin in Charlie Lake, and we were going to truck it across town over to our acres out in Baldonnel. We had a bare chunk of land there. Right. That process took a year and a half, and so we were 18 months in this little 400 square foot place. Got the cabin moved out, no electricity. No heat, so we were on wood fire only and generator power, and we moved into that in 2016, and we were just like, this is massive, and it was like 800 square feet, right? And so we lived there for 6 years, and had 2 more kids in that cabin, and then finally on the same acreage built our forever home that we'll hopefully die in. Right. Probably on the stairs when we're old.
Here's hoping not.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, so we did reno flips. We have horses. Our 2 oldest girls are really into rodeo, training horses, and so we were having 2 foals this year that the girls really want to train up to and sell as rodeo horses and things like that. And they're really good at it. Right. And then our boys, so our girls are going to be 16 and 14 this year after August, and then our boys are turning 10 and 8 this fall. And they only care about skidooing and dirt biking.
That's good to have in this area, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's good trails around here too.
Oh, there's tons.
Yeah.
Tons of trails. Well, and that's, I mean, Fort St. John is the like center mecca of all motorsports.
Right.
And hiking and mountains. Like everything's within a couple hour drive.
Again, another advantage of down south too.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, having that sort of closeness in terms of different things to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%. 100%. And so, with that being said, as well, you're a filmmaker. You flip houses as well. Are there anything else that you're like looking to do or looking to accomplish, both in Eagle or maybe even outside it? Things that you never.
Yeah, for sure. Lots of things within Eagle Vision, for sure. Like we've started for our employees here. We started a home ownership program.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I fully agree that because we're a creative industry, we can't pay oil field rates for employees. I can go work for Tourmaline and make $45 an hour. I was like, okay, go have fun. We can't compete with that, right? But I fully agree that like rental is just a black hole for your money to go sit in, and for somebody else to gain wealth with, right? So we started a 7% home equity co-purchase so employees will put in 7% of their annual income. Eagle Vision will also contribute 7%. And then build their savings to where they can invest in their first home, kind of thing. So there's lots of things I would like to do more for our employees, benefits and things like that. For the community, we haven't released any yet, but we started a series called Change Makers. And so it's basically little 1 to 1.5 minute exposés on people that either make a difference in Fort St. John, are influential in what makes the Peace region a desirable place to live, or they make a difference in somebody else's life. So volunteers or things like that. So,
have you guys started that series?
Yeah, we've got about 4 or 5 episodes.
Oh, cool.
Whatnot. It's actually a series that Joseph had started down in Vancouver a little while ago, and we're continuing it on. So we've done a bunch. We haven't released any of them yet, but that's something we're just doing as a self-funded community project.
Right.
There's a lot, especially a lot of our like Rommel and Ralph and Cedez and the Filipino community that we have right within our own company. They've had a ton of outside help from the Filipino community, and they need to be showcased a little bit about the good that they're doing for the different cultures we have here in Fort St. John. So that's one thing we definitely want to do. The What Happened to Man documentary, we want to self-fund that as well. And just, give a lot of encouragement to, men that are dealing with mental health issues, which is doing the research for that documentary, that one of the craziest statistics was men under 40, 70% of all men under 40 that pass away are from suicide. So if you're 40 or less and you die, 70% of the time is from suicide. Like that didn't seem like a realistic. You would think like, oh, car crashes, or oh, alcoholism, or oh, drug abuse would be a number one contender, or but no, it's 70% of the time from suicide, not from men being ridiculous and doing crazy things and, winning a Darwin Award. No, it's from like mental health. And if that doesn't scream, there needs to be a change, or that needs to be addressed, or there needs to be more support for, it's okay to be a man and to have, good masculinity, to have a little bit of, what makes a man, and to not feel bad about that, right? Like, there's just such a mental health deficit in men, and support for men's mental health that that this documentary feels like something that needs to be made,
right,
essentially. So Yeah, just things like that. Those are some of our
Things
other
that you want to
projects that we
accomplish.
want to accomplish. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And talking about men's mental health, was that sort of a passion of yours in terms of like, this is an issue that I care a lot about, is men's mental health? Was that something you wanted to kind of explore, or how do you
Yeah. Oh, for
cross?
sure, for sure. And I think you get like, cause you get some crazy third wave feminist movements. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm all for women's rights, but when they come to the detriment of like calling for the eradication of men, like okay, well now we've overcorrected the other way. Like there's it's yeah. So I think some of that has come out of just frustration of some of the paths that countries have taken, that youth in the nation have taken, like the over sexualization of so many things, of kids, and the desensitization of all of that in movies. And it brought like this, like, good men can make a huge difference in those areas that, like, of society. And without that, like, you can see the degradation of society if there's a piece missing. Like, we all have roles to play, and there's important parts to all of it: feminism, masculinity, leadership, servitude. Like, there's all these important parts of society. I mean, when you take one fairly important part, like masculinity, and men are an important part of society, like 90% of all infrastructure is run by men. You take that and you tell them they're worthless or they're not needed, like, that has a huge impact on society, regardless if you want it to or not. And so I think that needs to be addressed. And so that it's always kind of been a passion of that, of just plain ignorance towards men, to the point where it's affecting their mental health, and they feel useless, they feel worthless, they feel not needed. And like that, I mean, that's a driving force to men in general. I want to feel purpose. I want to feel needed. Need to feel wanted, that I am not a burden on someone, that I am not a problem to be dealt with, that my bravado is not an inconvenience that needs to be squashed, and that I need to embrace my feminine side, right? Like, there's God-given cases where masculinity is more important than femininity, and then there's God-given cases where femininity is more important than masculinity. But when you look at a family structure, and I think this is where it's really given a lot of my passion, you look at a family structure, single parent homes, in a female only, like mother-led single parent home, the child is 70% more likely to enter the prison system. In a nucleus family home, you drop that statistic by 70%. In even a single male parent led home, and the man is part of the child's life, it's the same as a nucleus family. And so to say that men aren't important, that they're not an important role within a family, or within people's lives, is detrimental to the future of our society. And so I think that needs to be, it's not being said very loud right now, and I think it needs to be spoken a little louder into the future. And not to the extreme, not to the extreme, not to the extent where it's degradation of women by any chance, but it's just to bring the importance of men's mental health, the importance they are to society, the importance they are to leadership, and that they are wanted,
Right.
they are needed,
Yeah, for
and
sure.
the reasons for that.
Right. And the core tenet of feminism is equality for both.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And making sure that both men and women are supported, and they feel worthy, and they feel like they have value. Right.
And that was the the core aspect of feminism in the beginning, right? But when you get to where it's a degradation of one sex or the other, you get extreme chauvinism, or you get extreme feminism, and it's like this crazy. Like, you get, on the other hand, you get like the overcorrection on the masculinity side, and you get the Andrew Tates of the world. You get the, it's like, okay, well, now that you are showing. But I really don't like the term toxic masculinity, because masculinity in itself and femininity in itself are not bad traits. They're to be embraced. There's toxic personality traits, and it just, when it gets attached to one gender or another, I think that's where you generalize someone's personality to where all aspects of masculinity are toxic, or all aspects of femininity are toxic. So that's definitely a passion of mine, to be able to, yeah, and it's not necessarily really to society, but I think it's going to be a documentary more for men themselves, to have that support, to show that they are needed, and even in thankless positions, and feeling, when your mental health is obviously to the point of feeling worthless, that is like, no, you have a very important role within society, whether you think so or not.
Right, right. And we all have value, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Biggest part.
Yeah, and that goes right back to that, culture project in Switzerland we were working on. That's what the big push, regardless of prominence, regardless of gender, we are all of equal value.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Ben, this has been a great chat. Thank you for taking the time to talk with us. I appreciate all the work you do in this region, all the work you guys do for filmmaking, and helping others in the area. And thank you for doing that.
Oh, I appreciate you coming by.
Yeah, thanks, man. Thank you so much. And that was On Location Fort St. John. Thanks again to Ben for coming by. Would you like to be on the program? Make sure you scan the QR code and fill out the form, and you too can come on Location Fort St. John as well. I've been Grady McTavish, and this has been On Location Fort St. John.
I'm going to need that hat back. Those are expensive.
Oh, yes, of course, sir.
Thanks.
Yeah, thank you.